Good evening, everyone. Feliz Navidad, Joyeux Noel, Merry Christmas, and welcome to Westside Unitarian Universalist Church for our Christmas Eve service. My name is Linda Phippen, and as a member of the worship committee, I will be assisting with the service this evening. At Westside, we respect and welcome people with a diversity of beliefs, identities, and ways of living. Here we are building a thriving community through love and caring for each other and reaching out to the wider world. And we're happy you've chosen to be with us this evening. We also welcome those of you who are watching on YouTube, whether right now in real time or at some time later. If you are participating virtually, you might want to have a candle nearby on hand so that you can join in on the candlelit portion of our service at the end. This service will include lots of singing, and what would Christmas holidays be without Christmas carols, after all? And we hope everyone will join in. If you're here in person, please linger after the service for light refreshments and conversation. There are some announcements in your order of service, or they will have been scrolling if you're on YouTube. But you can also find the information on our website or in our weekly newsletter, which you can get by subscribing on our website if you're not already getting it. And now I'm going to hand off to our minister, the Reverend Carol Bodeau.
Good evening, everyone. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad, all the things. Welcome especially to those who are with us virtually. It's great to have you here this evening. We are a small but mighty crowd tonight. I want you all, before we do anything else, to, we're going to warm up your vocal cords, so please repeat after me. Okay, you can do better than that. Because you all are going to have to sing quite a bit tonight this evening. We're going to be taking a little tour through the feelings of the season through music, not just traditional carols, but some other things. But before we do that, we're going to use a sound that has become traditional for Westside, a sound that helps us kind of gather ourselves into this space and into our time together. So I'm going to invite our singing bowl to sing first. And as the bowl sounds, I invite you to simply allow the sound to move into your mind and your heart.
Reverend Carol's going to light our chalice this evening. In recognition of the origin of this holiday, I'm going to read the story, the Christmas story, as related in Luke, the Gospel of Luke. Small print here. And it came to pass in those days that a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. This census first took place while Quirinius was governing Syria. So all went to be registered, everyone to his own city. Joseph also went up from Galilee out of the city of Nazareth into Judea to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be registered with his wife Mary, who was betrothed wife Mary, who was with child. So it was that while they were there, the days were completed for her to be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling cloths, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them at the inn. Now there were at the same country shepherds living out in the fields, keeping watch over their flock by night. And behold, an angel of the Lord stood before them, and glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were greatly afraid. Then the angel said unto them, Do not be afraid, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which will be to all the people. For there is born to you this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord. And this will be the sign to you. You will find a babe wrapped in swaddling cloths, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men.
So there's going to be a lot of singing tonight. That Christmas story is one piece of the narrative that we often hold as we move through the Christmas season. There's also a soundtrack for many of us to the season. There's a story, but there's a soundtrack. This evening, we're going to celebrate sort of the soundtrack that we might not necessarily think about very much. The story of the Christian Christmas is centered around that child who represents all children. And many of our traditional Christmas carols tell us the story of his birth. But there are other things that we might find familiar that also echo in our heads that have some of the same messages of the season. So we're going to sing a song that some of you are for sure going to know. Some of you are going to know it better than others. I'm going to ask the choir to stand up front to sing this. Now, you all have to help sing it. The words are going to be up here behind us. Hopefully, can you folks over there see through the choir to the words on the wall? You see that okay? All right. So we are going to sing, I'd like to teach the world to sing. There's a little bit of an intro, and then the words are up here. They're also printed in your order of service. We're going to sing through it. Y'all have to sing loud, okay? Okay. you guys did a pretty good job with that. That was pretty good. I could hear people besides the choir singing, which was awesome. So how many of you remember the Coca-Cola Christmas commercial that made that song famous? Okay? Songs like that one, right alongside our traditional Christmas carols, are kind of central to the feeling of the season. How many of you, when that song plays, picture a polar bear with a bottle of Coke, right? Yes, right? That's the image. These are central to the feelings we have about this holiday season, and all of those sounds, the background music of Christmas, live in our minds and hearts with a mood that colors the holidays. Now, some of us might even be old enough to remember the original Coca-Cola commercial where "I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing" was first made popular. It was not the Christmas one. It was in 1971. The first version, which was the original version of "I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing," involved a number of young adults from all different cultures, all different ethnicities, gathering. They were on a windy, beautiful hillside. It wasn't in winter. It wasn't in the dark. They were gathering, walking up this hillside, singing this song and showing solidarity despite obvious differences of culture and experience. And that commercial and the song was born of the civil rights era, and sort of the hippie movement. It was like the sort of the big hippie movement song. So that first came out in 71. And then in 77, Coca-Cola made the Christmas version that went with that earlier version of the song. And in the Christmas version, a group of young adults sit on the ground in the dark holding candles, and the shape of their group makes the form of a Christmas tree. Now, obviously, there are some commercialization issues which arise around the song eventually. Actually, the song that is sung on the commercials is actually now a separately patented, copyrighted song called "I'd Like to Buy the World a Coke." So, here we are in our culture. But still, the mood of the song is what sticks in my memory anyway, right? I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. And those commercials were a part of a much larger cultural movement in which commercial ventures were using music to create peace and promote justice in the world. How about this song? Anybody remember this? Feed the world, let them know it's Christmas time. Oh, feed the world. You remember that? Anybody remember what that was from? No, you remember the song.
It was, wasn't it the British?
It was Bob, yes, it was Bob Geldof. That's right. And it was in the UK. Do They Know It's Christmas was a song written by Bob Geldof and Midge Ure to raise money for the famine in Ethiopia. So that was in 1984. It was recorded by Band Aid. Remember the Band Aid, which was before Farm Aid and all those things, right? Band Aid there was this huge famine in Ethiopia, and Bob Geldof decided to write this song and brought in all these famous musicians to sing it together, and they created this super group to raise money for that cause. And they recorded it in November of that year, and that year it was the #1 song on the Christmas charts, much to the chagrin of Wham, who wanted to be "Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day." So Christmas, has been a time when people have used music not just to celebrate the season and the story, but also to work to create unity, to serve as a unifying force. I remember both of these songs more clearly because they came at Christmas time, which is a time when we're more receptive to ideas about unity and peace than maybe we are at other times of year. I don't know about you, but I notice in the grocery store at this time of year, people are just a little, okay, there are a few people who are not a little bit more polite. But in general, there's a little bit of a Christmas spirit out there, and people tend to be a little bit more cheery and a little bit more generous and a little bit more polite. There are many, many ways that music can be unifying. During the Christmas season, one of the ways that music is really unifying is just through tradition, right? Even those who are not theologically Christian, I can say this as a UU minister, even those who are not theologically Christian will still insist on singing the original lyrics of Christmas carols. No matter what they think about the theology of those lyrics, they want to hear the original lyrics, not the weird UU lyrics in the gray hymnal, right? Tradition. It's just simple tradition, regardless of sort of their actual religious beliefs. And the reasons we might sing these particular songs is another thing about the unifying power of music, which is that they actually talk about themes of unifying us. They talk about peace and hope and joy and light and things like that. Now, in addition to these explicit themes of unity and our shared sense of tradition around the holiday, music also connects us in a sense of history, a location in time and place. Many of the songs of the season link us, frequently unconsciously, to a shared past. They give us a sense of unity and continuity in the grand scheme of things. And they also give us a sense of unity in the present moment with one another. So right now, when we are on the brink of a new year that many of us feel concerned about, many of us are feeling concerned about unity. We're feeling worried about separation and divisiveness and polarity. It seems to me that these themes of unity matter quite a great deal, and it may be more important than ever to remind ourselves about them. The oldest traditions associated with this time of year are about bringing hope and light in times of darkness. Some of you are here this weekend for our winter solstice spiral, where we celebrate that explicitly. But the winter solstice, which people celebrated long before the birth of Jesus of Nazareth, has always been a time for people to come together, to tell stories, and seek hope in the face of darkness and cold. To come together as communities to celebrate the possibility of light and promise, even when times are dark. So the next song that you all are going to help us sing, I'm going to invite the choir to come stand up in front. We're going to get ready to sing this one. This song, In the Bleak Midwinter, was written as a poem by Christina Rossetti and published in 1872. And it really explicitly uses some images from the winter solstice, metaphorically tied to Jesus' birth, to evoke the feeling that throughout time, humans have sought comfort and hope in the face of challenging cold and dark. So I'm going to play the melody through once so you all can hear it, and then we're going to sing the 3 verses. There should be 3. Just 2. Which ones we got? The first 2. No, and turn the page. It's actually all 3 verses. Don't be faked out. They aren't divided like verses, but trust me, they're all 3 there. Those of you who are watching the screen above, the magical screen above my head, will be unmystified by all of it. Just sing what you see. You'll be fine. All right, I'm going to play the melody once. So the important lines in there are, when our hearts are open, love is born again. There's a lot of that. Even the melody itself is kind of melancholy. It's not a cheerful song. It's about the bleakness of the season, which, that's something that's important about this season too, is challenge. Even before the birth of Jesus of Nazareth, and really a long time before Coke commercials, this time of year in the Northern Hemisphere called for reassurance of light in darkness, warmth in places that were cold and difficult, hope in challenging and dangerous conditions. Now, when the Catholic Church formally associated the birth of Jesus with the time of the winter solstice, and that didn't happen until the 4th century of the Common Era, when the Catholic Church said, well, we're going to call it like this time of year that Jesus was born, when they did that, they emphasized certain particular layers of the pre-Christian message. They began to focus on the light in the darkness, which they metaphorically translated as Jesus being born, as healing for larger suffering in the world, rather than just, earlier people had mostly focused on the physical matter of the sun not being out and it being actually cold. But when the Christian church adopted this time of year as a way to celebrate Jesus' birth, they started talking about this in a much more metaphorical way about the life of Jesus as a savior. And they adapted the pre-Christian themes of the earth turning within the cosmos to the story of that child being miraculous in healing for broader worldly woes. So, we're going to sing another song that many of you will know, Do You Hear What I Hear, that has some of these themes of the celestial or cosmic magic in it, represented by the star. The star is another important character. The song also helps us understand how nature resonates with the magic, and how human powers represented by the king in the song bow to the power of something greater. So I'm going to ask the choir to come forward, and we're going to help lead you in singing this song, which I think most of you probably know. Said the night wind to the little lamb, do you see what I see? The sky, little lamb, do you see what I see? A star, dancing in the night with a tail as big as a kite, with a tail as big as a kite. Said the little lamb to the shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear? Ringing through the sky, shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear? A song, high above the tree, with a voice as big as the sea, with a voice as big as the sea. The shepherd boy to the mighty king, do you know what I know? In your palace wall, mighty king, do you know what I know? A child shivers in the cold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Said the king to the people everywhere, listen to what I say. sleeping in the night, he will bring us goodness and light. He will bring us goodness and light. So one child, set in the context of this cosmic narrative. One child, in the context of this much larger truth, can be the source of hope for all of us, regardless of when that child is born, to whom that child is born, what culture they are born in. The message here has grown to be one that says, the smallest thing can give us hope in the most difficult times. The child is not only a symbol of our common humanity, but also of our human potential, of your potential, each of us, of our ability to transcend our circumstances and our capacity to make magic and miracle happen, even in the middle of our ordinary lives. Now, the star reminds us of something else, right? Which is the star kind of gives us a sense of perspective, that we are all on this one earth, floating through this cosmic experiment. Our next song is a little bit less familiar. It's called Within the Shining of a Star, and it's about how that star is symbolic of important things. I'm going to play it through once, and then we're going to sing the 2 verses of it. And I'd invite you to listen for how the star is a metaphor for our location in the grand scheme of things. You guys can come up. That one's short and sweet, but it has a really powerful message. Circling in the heavens, the Christmas star reminds us of our dependence on the earth herself, and also of how small our differences are in the great scheme of things. Both of these messages put things in perspective and offer us a sense of scale. Now, throughout history, these more general themes have been used to reinforce specific messages of unity when times were tough. We are not the first people to be greeting the Christmas season with concerns about unity and peace in the world. This is not new. It's maybe new in certain ways to us, but it is certainly not new to our planet. This is expressed very generally in the traditional English carol, God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. Now, here's something interesting about this. The word merry does not modify gentlemen in this title. It's not God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. It's God Rest Ye Merry, all you gentlemen. And that's a little bit of an important difference because it's saying something slightly different. It's saying, go ahead and be happy anyway. The historic meaning of the phrase, God rest you merry, is may God grant you peace and happiness. This phrase's first recorded use is from 1534, and Shakespeare used it actually quite liberally in his plays. The song song that we are used to singing during the holiday season, a version of it is first noted in the 1650s. The version we're going to sing, we're just going to sing a couple verses of it tonight, appeared in 1760. Like many traditional Christmas carols, the full version of it gives us most of the story of the Christmas birth of Jesus of Nazareth. But the opening and closing verses remind us of the themes of peace and hope. We're going to just sing those, the first and the last verse, and focus on their reminders of importance and unity. And the choir's they're getting their workout tonight. I hope you guys got your Apple Watches on and are counting your steps. They're going to stand up here and lead, and Yetta and Linda are going to play, and I'm going to conduct you all. So we're just going to sing the first and the last verse, and they're going to play it through once for us before we sing those two verses.
Yeah. I was going to ask you this.
You have no idea how much blocking this all took to prep for it, the moving about. Okay, so that song's pretty familiar, right? We've heard that one. We don't necessarily sing it that much in churches on Christmas Eve, but it's really about speaking of, it says, with true love and brotherhood each other now embrace, right? It's an explicit command. Within this place and with true love and brotherhood, each other now embrace. It doesn't just consider the birth of Jesus a general sign of hope and promise. It reminds us to actively emulate the life of Jesus of Nazareth. He welcomed the stranger, gave comfort to the outcast, and fought for justice. Christmas, the celebration of his birth, is a time to remember that our common humanity should be embodied in acts of brotherhood and justice and care. Going even further, the songs of Christmas can be used to remind us that we need to remember to get back in that seat even when we've messed up badly, when our human failings have caused the worst of suffering, when we have created destruction and chaos. Sometimes music at Christmas time is used to remind us to shift back towards unity, towards a shared promise of a better way. So in 1864, in the midst of the Civil War, a Unitarian named Henry Longfellow wrote a poem called I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day. And he wrote this, most of us hear that song, we think, oh, it's a lovely song about Christmas bells, but it's not. The song is actually a description of his despair and hopelessness and sorrow in the midst of war. His son had just gone off and enlisted, though he had tried to stop him from doing it. He had lost loved ones in the war, and it wasn't looking good at that point, and he was in despair. So the actual words to this song are about finding a way back from despair and hopelessness in the face of incredible human folly and destruction. We often skip the verses that refer specifically to the war, but tonight we're going to sing them all. So I'm going to play the melody through once, and then we're going to sing the 5 verses that really go through Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's experience of trying to find his sense of hope when things looked really, really dark to him. We had a little bit of echoes of military bombs going off during the middle of that song, just for effect. So the tolling of the Christmas bells reminded Longfellow that just as in the time of Jesus of Nazareth, human history is filled with stories of our failings, of our tendency to create war, of human greed, of destruction. All those things have been happening since there have been human beings around to cause that kind of trouble. And yet, the whole message of Christmas is that each time the sun arises, each time the seasons turn, each time a child is born, peace and love and unity become possible again. And we are the ones who have to choose to put our attention there. Longfellow turns from despair to hope and invites us to do the same. One more song, which is perhaps far less familiar, but was really embraced by early Unitarians and Universalists, presents an absolutely determined, emphatic version of this message. So this next song we're going to sing was written by a humanist and an ethicist named Percival Chubb. He wrote this about 20 years after Longfellow wrote that song in despair. And this song is called "Oh, We Believe in Christmas." And it was written to make a statement about human values regardless of religious or theological position. So let me give you a little context here. So this is at the time in Unitarianism and Universalism when there was a strong anti-theological movement, an secular, humanist, ethical movement happening in the things that would merge to become our denomination. And yet, Percival Chubb, who wasn't Christian, didn't believe in the Christian story, like many people in Unitarian Universalist congregations, still felt pretty strongly that the values of Christmas, regardless of the theological narrative, were relevant to people in our congregations and communities. Now, he has been criticized by modern Unitarian Universalists for being a little bit bossy about this, as you will see from the lyrics. He's criticized as being just a little bit too, by gosh, you will believe in this. Matter of fact, one UU scholar who talks about the history of our music says that she actually hates this song because she imagines a very stern Percival Chubb scolding his atheist congregation and saying, "We believe in Christmas. We believe in it." But the point is that he is saying the ethics and the values of the season can be embraced regardless of our theological differences. So one more time, choir, come on up. I'm going to play this one through once also. The words are, "We believe in Christmas and we keep Christmas Day and we're going to honor Christmas the ancient worldwide way." And he talks about the values. So I'll play it through once and then we're going to sing. We are actually going to sing all the verses, choir, all of them. Tell me what number it is. guys did a great job with that one, which is new. We don't sing that one very much. So Percival Chubb asserted that anyone can embrace Christmas as a time to dedicate ourselves to the theme of unity. His version of a Christmas song says, "Darn it, even those who don't necessarily subscribe to the traditional Christian beliefs can just go ahead and make Christmas a forceful reminder of our common humanity, as the song says, beyond all tribes and nations." So the themes here are applied in many, many ways. They are a reminder to us that we always have a choice. We often think about this as if we are subjected to the struggles of the world. The struggles of the world persist throughout time. They take different shapes. They take different forms. Sometimes we're in a different location relative to them. But the struggles of the world have continued unceasingly throughout the human experience. What Christmas is meant to remind us of, whether it is the story of the winter solstice sun rising or the birth of Jesus of Nazareth, the season is meant to remind us that we get to choose how we respond to those struggles. We can choose hope. We can choose love. We can choose to connect with the unity that we have through our shared human experience and through all inhabiting this delicate, beautiful planet we are all riding on through space. This message is really important here at Westside. In a moment, we're going to take an actual physical material offering. So Alice and Jerry, if you're ready to get plates ready, I will explain what we're doing. We haven't done this for a really long time. I've been warning you all. Some of you may not remember this. We are actually going to take a physical offering this year, partly as a little bit of a ritual, to remind us that we physically, whether or not you put anything in that plate, okay? The ritual is not what you put in the plate. It's touching it with your hands. It's remembering that your hands matter, that what you touch matters. Now, if you are a virtual participant, or if you just don't happen to have cash with you and you still want to make a contribution, there is our handy-dandy QR code on your order of service and on your screen. Now, here's the catch. If you use the QR code, there are instructions about how you have to do that. Apparently, our online platform will not accept the apostrophe in Minister's Fund. The money that we collect on Christmas Eve is used to support our work in the community serving people in need. It is used to pay people's electric bills or rent, to buy groceries, to support people who are unable to pay medical bills. Those are the kinds of things we use this money for. So whether or not you put anything in the plate, as it passes by and you touch it, know that your touch, your presence is enough. We had a small Christmas miracle that I want to tell you about with the Christmas plates this evening. So we haven't been doing this for a while. And I went to get the plates out of the cabinet, I was going to seed the plates with some seed money. And the top plate was empty, and I lifted it up, and the bottom one was filled with cash. It had been sitting in the cabinet filled with cash, which is two miracles. One, there was all this surprise cash, and two, it was still there, which says some good things about this community. So I'm going to play that We Believe in Christmas song through a couple times as the plate passes. Just touch it with your best blessings for the world, knowing that your presence makes a difference as we and as the community go out and try to spread these messages. We engage in practices to promote justice and equity here at Westside. We offer material resources when they are needed. And at Christmas, we remind ourselves that one of our primary roles in this community is to be a resource for the struggling and suffering and challenges of our world. Music helps us find both the inspiration and the energy to do those things. I know that some of us are kind of tired right now. Not just from the holiday rush, but from the conditions of the world. There are challenges, and there will be challenges in the coming year. But music, especially the kind of music we listen to at Christmas, is meant to settle deeply into both our conscious and unconscious minds and hearts. It's meant to instill in us associations and assumptions about what is possible from us and from those around us. It reminds us to honor things like hope, possibility. It reminds us to keep perspective about our human earthly experience, both how big we are, the potential of a child, and how small we are in the cosmic scheme of things. It's meant to instill in us a sense of magic and wonder. And it's meant to help us focus on how we are alike rather than how we are different. People all over this country are gathering in churches like this tonight, singing Christmas songs, telling similar stories, and talking about these themes across a wide range of cultural traditions, religious beliefs, ideologies, and economic conditions. It can be really hard sometimes to focus on those things, on what we share, instead of on how we're different. It can be tough. But hopefully the Christmas season gives us that little bit of a jump start to remember it. One of the ways that we traditionally end our holiday service here at Westside is something that is shared globally. Cultures around the world sing Silent Night as a way to close their Christmas Eve services. There are, I'm sure many of you heard stories of soldiers at war in the trenches on opposing sides of a battle on Christmas Eve in the cold, not fighting, and someone stepping out into the middle of the battlefield singing Silent Night, and the soldiers on both sides joining in to sing this song. So this is a song that is meant to be unifying, right? It's a song that is meant to help us remember that across our differences, all people everywhere want the same things. We want our children to be born safe and warm and comforted. We want our planet to provide us with what we need. We want our communities to be healthy. We want to know that our neighbors have our best interests at heart. We disagree in a lot of ways about how to make that possible. But at the core, Christmas is meant to remind us that unity is possible, and that harmony is possible, and that the peace which we all seek is there when we are able to focus on it. So we light candles on Christmas Eve just to help remind us of that and to sort of set it in our hearts and minds, not as a concept, but as an experience. So you should all have candles. And what we're going to do is I will start the candle lighting. As as Yetta and Linda are going to play through Silent Night once, and we're just going to sing the easy to remember first verse over and over again. So you don't have to, it's not complicated. We're just going to sing the verse over and over again. And we're just going to sing it as many times as it takes. So I'm going to invite you to stand up for this. And Jerry, just the third one in, the third switch in. Perfect. Keep going. A little more. How about that? All right. Yetta and Linda will begin playing, and I will begin the lighting. And after they've played it through once, we will sing the first verse over and again. Night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, sleep in heavenly. And again. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep. And let's do it one more time. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. I invite you to look around and notice the simplicity of candles in the darkness. It's a really simple little thing, but it's an incredibly powerful experience to be in a room full of people with candles lit. The peace we seek may not be from an outside source. It may be in our own hearts, and it may be as close as lighting a candle with someone we love, sharing food, no matter what's happening outside the doors, no matter what storms are blowing against the windows. The stillness of night, the light of our own aspirations and hopes, the birth of the sun and the birth of a child are the small, ordinary miracles that we can celebrate anytime. May the peace and joy of the Christmas season follow you through the year. May you choose Christmas even when things look dark or conflict seems to be all around. May the sounds of this season echo in your heart and mind, even at other times of year, and help you keep perspective. May this night remind us, now and in our memories through the coming days, that through all our differences, we are more alike than not. And that by sharing this human journey on this beautiful, delicate, amazing planet, we have so much to celebrate and be grateful for. Merry Christmas, everyone. Go in peace.
Merry Christmas.
Please stay for some treats. We have coffee and tea and hot cocoa and mulled cider, and wow, that's bright. Maybe not quite so much. Woo! Let's turn that down just a wee bit. That was a lot. And there's lots of Christmas treats to be shared, so please join us for some treats.